I'm the bad guy.
Duh.
Hello everybody, and I am back here in the dojo. It is the most earth-breaking, ground-shaking, but never media show, money-taking, the man, the myth, the legend, the most electrifying villain on YouTube entertainment today, Mr. General Zod. And I'm here to talk to you guys about a movie. The movie of the year. The most scariest experience. Let's talk about Hansel and Gretel, or Gretel and Hansel as it is titled. What can I say? This is going to be a short review. So I'm going to do my overview, my pros, my cons, and then what I thought of this movie, my number system from 1 to 10, 1 being the greatest thing your earth has ever produced, and as far as trash goes, and 10 being the most groundbreaking film ever made. So, what can I say? This is an unusual movie. It has a very indie feel to it. It's the story of the grim fairy tale with a twist. It's about the classic tale of Hansel and Gretel, but it takes a spin with the female character, and it is more about her being enticed by this witch to become a witch, and that's pretty much it. Now, my pros are this. It has a unique idea. It's uniquely shot and could have been a good film had it not been a January film and had it had a bigger budget. Some of the visuals are good. Some of the stuff is truly terrifying imagery, and it's got unique moments that would have made it a good horror film. Just the choices made were odd. My cons, this film is only like an hour and 24 minutes or so, and it gets boring at certain parts. With a horror movie, I've stated this before, you cannot have a boring horror movie, and I feel like it's not so much what the writer wrote down, but rather the way they delivered the scene was fucking terrible. And it's a shame, because it feels like they didn't have a budget to deliver the scenes very well. So budget in January, and maybe even a bit of promoting. It's just one of those films that feels indie, and it feels like certain parts got a bigger budget than other parts did. And so, like, I like the feel of it being shot in essentially one location and some of the ideas, but I felt like they just didn't have the backing. This was your typical January movie right at the end of the month to round out a very unusual month of both highs and lows. Both unexpectedly good and unexpectedly bad. And this falls right in the middle somewhere. And this is what perplexed me about this movie and this review. I still don't know exactly how I feel, where it went wrong. I just feel like this movie needed more love, and it could have been actually a decent time, because I was really feeling it up to a point in the movie, and when you guys see the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. That there's certain choices that are made that really hinder this thing from being what I felt like they were going for. And that's the most egregious thing about these horror movies. I hate when I've invested my time and it feels like it could have been something more, and maybe budgetary constraints or the fact that the studio didn't have faith in their movie really takes you out of what could have been a great story. So what do I think? Zod does not approve of seeing this movie in the theater. I think this would be interesting if you're into that kind of indie horror and you want to see a really different take on the story, but be prepared. Most of the stuff that happens isn't going to be, as you guys know, about the last 20 minutes of the film, and then it's subjective to whether or not you're going to like this, highly subjective. But I'd give this movie overall a 6.9. It would be slightly above, like, say, if I say 5 is half a 10, right? And that's, you know, a halfway decent movie. I put it above that, but I wouldn't put it, it'd be close to the 7s, but not quite tipping it. It's just not watchable on the big screen and feeling like you have a good money's worth, just because of how everything is placed, how there was a clear lack of budget, and how really there was a lack of faith. I mean, some people said there wasn't a meat to the story. I would disagree. There was something there. It just feels like money. It's very, very much the budget affects this film. And it's a shame when a writer and director has a pretty fresh take on an old subject, but because they just don't have the money and the studio clearly doesn't have faith in their product, that you have a film that comes out that just isn't able to realize its potential. And I think that's what's wrong with this film. I don't think it sucked as a movie. I think it just sucked. It wasn't given a chance to realize what it could have been. So, anyways, that's my take on this video. This has been the most this has been the most groundbreaking, earth-shaking, but never media show money-taking, the man, the myth, the legend, the most electrifying villain in YouTube entertainment today. If you like this video, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, click that subscribe button. And as always, remember the one and only rule here in the fandom zone: kneel before General Zod.
I'm the bad guy.
Duh.